Housekiss. Welcome to today's Big Brother Over the Top updates and spoilers. Happy Halloween! Hope you weenies are having a great day. Our house guest of the day is Daniel Gutierrez. Hey Daniel, and he wants to know, do I think that the HOH is less powerful this season because of America's involvement? Abs-damn-lutely I do. Basically the HOH is just like safe this season. They can take a shot at somebody, but there's a good chance that none of their nominees will go home, and America will also be the deciding vote. We've seen that happen a few times already this season, so I think definitely it's risky to be the HOH this season because you don't even know if you're going to be able to get rid of anyone you want to. It could be someone from your own alliance. So great question. If you guys want to be house guests of the day, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. Can I borrow those glasses for a second? Here's my Halloween costume. Guess who I am? Shelby. Okay, so anyway, yesterday they had the safety ceremony part 2, and Danielle decided to save Scott, Morgan, and Alex, which means that Whitney and Shelby are up on the block, and Whitney is the target. It was looking for a while like it was going to be Morgan, and then all of a sudden they switched to Whitney. No, because they're saying like, oh, she's America's sweetheart and no one's going to be able to beat her, so we may as well do this now. So then, post-noms, the ball smashers are hanging out, and Whitney is visibly upset. Everybody's like, let's see what happens if this person goes up, what happens if this person goes up, and Whitney's like, why don't we wait until after America's nominee to go through all the scenarios? So she doesn't want to deal with it right now. They're all hoping, or so they say, that the other side will be put up on the block by America. And then they're trying to figure out who the target is. Is it Whitney? Is the plan actually to backdoor Alex? They're all saying different things. But a few people in this conversation already know that Whitney is the target. Especially Alex. She was all in on that. She was instrumental in making this happen. So then Shelby and Alex were talking in the lounge room, and Alex lets her know the late night jamboree's plan. She's like, Shelby, you're not really a target this week. LNJ wants to get rid of people who have not gotten care packages yet, so it ups their chances. And guess what? Whitney and Morgan are like, they're the only two in the group who have not gotten a care package yet, so they're up on the block. Well, Whitney is, but Morgan, there's that chance she could be the replacement. So then they're talking about the veto competition, and Shelby's like, do you think that I should pick you if I get house guest choice, or like Scott? And Alex is like, I'll use the power veto on you. Would she though? Because that would put Morgan at risk of going up. I'm not sure if Alex is just BSing Shelby or what. So, I mean, because we've heard Alex say many times she will cut her sister if necessary. So then Morgan and Whitney join them, and Shelby ends up leaving a few minutes later to go use the bathroom or whatever. So they're speculating about the power veto competition. A lot of them think that it's going to be some sort of like eating gross foods thing because it's happening on Halloween. We'll get there. And then Alex starts lying to Whitney. She's like, I don't think you're the target this week. You know she is! So then Whitney is like, I think I am. So here's her reasoning, which makes sense. The other day, Danielle told her that she only wants her 2 nominees up on the block on Thursday, which would mean the POV would have to be used on America's nominee, which would mean that she wants either Whitney or Shelby to go home. And Whitney's like, Shelby can't honestly be the target over me. Come on. Everybody wants Shelby around because they don't think that she's going to be able to get America's votes. So then Morgan's like, well, we're going to have to wait and see who America puts up. And Alex tells Whitney, well, we'd use the veto on you. That's what she just said to Shelby. And she's like, you also got people on the other side like Justin and Chrissy who love you and would want to use the veto on you too. Alright, so then Shelby was discussing the veto with Scott, and she's like, would you use it on me? And Scott's like, you could tell that he's thinking about it, and he's like, but he says yes, he would be willing to use it on her, but he would also be worried that Alex would go up in her place, and you know Scott is all about keeping Alex safe. So then Shelby's like, what the hell? Like, she definitely noticed the hesitation in his answer, and she's like, whatever. If you're not going to use it on me, fine. Just don't use it on Whitney. Because she's figuring, like, Whitney's going to go home over her. So then Scott's like, just chill. You and Alex are my girls. I want to go to the end with you guys, which I think is true. But he does not hide that Alex is definitely ranked way above Shelby, who's down here. And Shelby knows that. And that is awful gameplay by Scott. It is horrible. So then Shelby is telling Alex about her conversation with Scott, and she's getting pissed off because she's like, Scott was telling me that he wants to, like, solidify our alliance and come up with a name for it and everything. She's talking about Scott, Shelby, and Alex. ASS. So she's like, am I just supposed to pretend that I don't know that I'm at the bottom of this alliance? Like, Scott is not even trying to hide it. And Alex is like, he's an idiot, but we should keep using Scott because it's beneficial to our games right now. He's trying to protect us. He will literally leave this game to get us further. Maybe Alex, but Shelby probably not. I mean, definitely Alex, but Shelby probably not. But she's saying, let's keep Scott around. You know, he's also drawing a lot of attention to them, and it's not good for them. So you gotta kind of weigh out the options here. But then Justin and Whitney were chatting in the have-not room, and Justin's like, oh, baby girl, I would use the POV on you. You already know. I already know. For sure, for sure. Whitney and Justin, amazing. So Whitney's like, yeah, but what if Jason is America's nominee? You're still going to use the POV on me? And Justin's like, I don't think he's going to be up there, so don't you worry. But Whitney's upset because Justin probably won't even get to vote this week. Shelby's got the care package power to eliminate 3 eviction votes, and I mean, she's probably just going to get rid of the 3 LNJers voting, right? Unless something crazy happens. So then Chrissy joins the 2 of them in the have-not room, and Chrissy's like, I'm confused because I thought Morgan was going up on the block, and now you're up there with Shelby? What? So Chrissy's trying to reason it out, and she's like, oh, Danielle probably just wants Whitney out because she's got these good relationships with people, mostly meaning Justin. I mean, Whitney is close with everyone, but the LNJ is really freaked out by her relationship with Justin because they're afraid they're going to lose him to her. So Whitney's like, oh, I don't really want Scott voting this week. It's freaking me out because he's definitely going to vote, or he would vote me out over Alex or Shelby. Correct. And then, speaking of Alex and Scott, they're all like, isn't it weird that neither Alex nor Scott are up on the block? What the hell is that? They're supposed to be, like, public enemies number 1 and 2. So then Chrissy is like, that's freaking weird. Does she have some sort of deal with them? Like Danielle, Alex, and Scott? Why is she not going after them? So then Chrissy's saying, well, let's just hope that somebody from the plastics will be America's nominee. And Whitney says, yes, she agrees because she thinks that that's going to be her best chance to stay. Because she doesn't trust her alliance anymore. It's kind of scary. So then Jason joins them, and the LNJ starts throwing Danielle under the bus. They're just like, we didn't know this was going to happen, and we all wanted Morgan up, not you. But that's not completely true. I do think that they like Whitney more than Morgan, but Jason was definitely involved in the talks to get Whitney up on the block. Chrissy and Justin, not as much. So then Whitney spent a long time last night bonding with Jason, Justin, and Chrissy in the have-not room, and they are all like theorizing that Danielle is working with Alex and Scott now because there's just way too many coincidences, like when Danielle came up with that plan that Scott already came up with to split the vote, have Scott break the tie, and get rid of either Shane or Danielle. They're also speculating that maybe Danielle voted out Neely last week and America was really the one who voted for Scott. I don't know. They're definitely freaking out about it. So then Whitney said something interesting. She said if Scott or Alex were up on the block and she was safe, she would vote one of them out. So it seems like she's maybe getting a little sick of her alliance, realizing that she's at the bottom, and she's thinking about making a flip. I don't know. But this morning, America's nominee was revealed, and it is Scott. What? Alright, so the extra POV players. We've got Justin, who was chosen by Whitney because her name was drawn, so she got house guest choice. That has to freak out the ball smashers a little bit, right? That she chose Justin over them. And the other player is Jason, and Danielle chose for Morgan to be the host. Alright, so then after that, the late night jamboree has a meeting in the have-not room, and they're like, oh, we're just glad that one of us didn't go up. They feel good that maybe America doesn't really hate them, and this is like their chance to take out Scott because they failed last week. So Jason's like telling Danielle, I know that you were saying that you wanted to take down America's nominee and just have your 2 nominees up on the block, but this is Scott we're talking about. America has given us Scott on a silver platter. We're gonna look like freaking a-holes if we do not accept that platter and throw it out the front door. So he's saying, you gotta swallow your pride and get rid of Scott this week. So Danielle's like, I do have that personal thing with Scott, but she really doesn't want to take him out this week. She would rather get rid of one of the girls. She thinks that Scott is somebody that she can trust over the plastics. And she also just does not want all of her nominees to stay in the house. She's really worried about that. So then Jason's arguing, yeah, but we could really like bust up that group this week. We could save Whitney, pull her in to work with us. Then we put up Morgan and get rid of either her or Scott. Excuse me. So it seems like Danielle still wants to get rid of one of the girls, and everybody else in the LNJ is like, yo, we should get rid of freaking Scott. So then the house guests were on outdoor lockdown for a while. They're like watching this big bird fight. I don't know, like a bird was attacking another bird's nest. It was kind of sad. But anyway, then it was time for the veto competition, and it was in the house. So to start things off, they watched this video package about the Big Brother house being haunted by this little girl named Clementine who, like, they said killed her family on the Big Brother lot, the same lot where they have the house. It was a joke, guys. It's not real. Kristen was watching this with us, and she was just like, is that for real? No. But we got to see some clips from last season with, like, Nicole and Michelle being like, oh my god, I think that room is haunted. The London room's haunted. So then, after they watch the video, they find out that for this competition, they will go into the house, in the dark house, one at a time, and they have to find Clementine's 3 favorite objects. A hairbrush, a doll named Abigail, and a rattle. So then once they find all 3 items, they have to put them in the toy chest. Timer stops. So for this, like I said, the house is completely dark. The house guests are wearing a headlamp, and there is a 15-minute time limit. And as they're walking through the house, they're seeing there's some freaking live-ass people waiting in there, and they're just like, I was hoping the people were going to grab them, but I think that they didn't want to do that because some of them, Justin would freak out and like start throwing punches or something. I don't know. But they didn't go with that. They just stood there creepily. So as this competition was going on, all the competitors were waiting in the lounge room. After you get to go up to the HOH room with everyone else to watch it on the screen. So that's a lot of fun. And let's go through the list here. So Justin and Scott were pretty funny. They were like the first 2 to go. Scott was like, oh, F, oh! He was definitely one of the most spooked by everything. Shelby was like, don't freaking touch me, I'm gonna sue you! She took a while to find the toy chest. That really messed up her time, and she was pissed about that. Jason was really calm going through this. He was like, oh, you look lovely. He was greeting all of the ghosts, meaning the humans. And when it got to Whitney's turn, she was really struggling because it seemed like she was making it way more difficult than it actually was. All the items were just like sitting out in plain view. I mean, obviously it was dark, but I mean, they weren't like hidden anywhere. But she was looking in these like really intense hiding spots, and it seemed like the whole HOH room was rooting for her because they were just like, oh no, no. It was just like when they had that production leak and they're like, oh no, Whitney. So then Danielle was the last to go, and she ended up winning the veto. Her time was only 1 minute and 22 seconds, so she freaking blew through it. Everybody else, their times were around like 1 something or 2 something minutes. The only kind of like stinkers in the group were Shelby and Whitney. They were like 4 or 5 minutes. yeah, so Danielle won the HOH and the veto this week. She's got the power. So they're having the POV meeting tomorrow, but before that, they're all getting ready for their Halloween party tonight. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. We'll talk about it tomorrow. And let me know what you guys think Danielle is going to do with the veto. She was saying that she wants to take down America's nominee, but now that she knows it's Scott, what's going to happen? So let me know in the comments what you guys think. And until tomorrow, much love.
Edit.